Earth is flat. End of story. Year 1871, where George Biddle used a telescope which is filled with water, an intended method to slow the light of stars, just to confirm Earth's movement. And the result was stars move and Earth doesn't. It is stationary. So if Earth is flat, how do they come up with Google Earth? By just using satellites, Google drones, and cars. If you are to pour a bucket of water of these two model Earth, which one will contain the water, in which surface will seek a level horizontal equilibrium? Is it A or B? 7 heavens, 7 layers, and 7 color of the rainbow. So why do you think NASA call its project Operation Fishbowl if it's a globe? Globe, it doesn't make sense because this is how Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. Our aircraft fly over a flat, non-rotating Earth. It is a closed dynamic system, and no, you cannot go out from it. That's the reason why we have a collection of water, to evaporation, to condensation, up until precipitation. It is a cycle because we are in a dynamic, closed system. I don't believe you because gravity is real, and it's stated by all the scientists. You mean con artist scientists that can't even explain gravity, can pull down apples and microphones of Neil deGrasse, but not pound clouds of water. Come on. See this compass here? Looks like a foam of a bra, meant and works only on a flat boobs. Sorry, Earth. This is an actual flight from a globe Earth comparing to the flat Earth. Now, does it make sense to you? And if not, then this is NASA's outer space. Japan elevator to space cost about $7 billion. Isn't it too cheap for building a space elevator with a space city on top? The cost of putting a payload beyond geostationary orbit can be cut for hundreds of dollars per kilogram. There's a problem in which carbon nanotubes, as proposed as an ideal material due to its high tensile strength. What about the feasibility of translating the nanoscale into a megastructures? Even the moon landing was not possible with any known material. They should already done it with the moon landing if it was really that feasible. It's funny that people still believe it, believing that all the infrastructure is 36,000 kilometers made out of carbon nanotube cable. And this is something no one built, even just a single kilometer of it. A very thin carbon material entering the atmosphere at high velocity would likely burn up before it even goes up or down. The only obstacle I see in this is the manufacturing, because the space, as we know, it stays where it is, outside a geosynchronous orbit, and all held up by a centrifugal force. Let's say they have these nanotube carbons. Since it is a strong material, but without the ability to manufacture 36,000 kilometers of any cohesive cable, the space slingshot or elevator will be a pure fiction. What about the obstacle of how to avoid debris, or what we call orbital debris? These satellites, millions of satellites, these asteroids, as all of these people believe in a globe Earth. Isn't it concerning? They already struggled finding what real planets are, or even a star on a telescope. And you tell me this elevator would work and it will be ready on 2050? It's a long year, so no, I don't believe it. Assalamu alaikum.
Hi, so I want to challenge you to go out and find the curve. Do it for yourself. Don't forget to change your settings in your camera from a fisheye lens. This is a PSYOP. No flat earther believes this. If you see someone posting this and claiming to be a flat earther or a level earther or a true earther, just know that they are dishonest and they are disingenuous. The bottom one, that's the truth. All you have to do is do your own observations. Use the curvature calculator. Use their information against them, and it fails every time. If you think you're seeing that boat going over the curve, just go get on a boat. Go out to where that boat was, and you will see it's just more water. Nothing is going around a ball. Go in an airplane. The higher you go, the more you see. and you'll see it's all flat land. Other than the mountains, valleys, rivers, and oceans, it's all flat land. The only people that ever show you a curve is some sort of a government space agency or someone who's getting paid by the government. Okay? Images are made and produced. They are not reality. If I show you a picture of the Tooth Fairy or the Superman or Santa Claus, does that make them real? No, it does not. Most flat earthers believe in a firmament dome that goes up and over everything. But we also believe that Antarctica is a continent that surrounds us 360 degrees. So this stuff falling off the edge is not what we believe. We also don't believe in outer space. Not like that. We don't believe we're on a disc hovering and flying through the universe at all. In fact, all of the stars, the sun, and the moon are inside of the firmament with us. The only thing that moves is the firmament. And because we have an Antarctic treaty that will not allow us to go past Antarctica, we can't go. So we have no way of proving that there's more lands beyond Antarctica. That would be considered pseudoscience. But Antarctica Treaty is the longest standing treaty that we've had ever. Our countries can't get along on anything, but they can get along on that treaty. And don't forget that when you are doing your own observations, understand that we cannot see forever, okay? And then you have to take into account the atmosphere. So is it going to be rainy? Is it going to be foggy, right? Is there dust? Is there dew in the air? Also, bushes, right? So make sure it's going to be clear when you're doing your observation, so it's easy for you. So when you're doing your observations, you don't think, oh, look, that's curved. You know, it's just a tree. Or it's just a bush. Or it's just a building. You know, you have to use your logics.
Oh my god. I feel like I just stumbled across secret paperwork that literally proves we might have not landed on the moon. And that the moon is a plasma. And listen, people have told me the moon is a plasma, and I even thought it was a little bit bonkers. Also, I totally did believe we landed on the moon. The moon. Until I read what I'm about to tell you. This could rework our entire understanding of gravity, which I already contemplated. And that basically the tides of the ocean are not controlled by gravity of the moon in the way we think. This is insane. Okay, I'm about to take you on a crazy deep dive, so get ready. Just a quick backstory. This all started because I'm writing a book on plasma intelligence. Plasma is the fourth state of matter. It's an ionized gas. You could check out my plasma intelligence to learn more about that. But upon my research of my science chapter in my book, I came across this. Okay, let's get into it. So there's an amazing YouTube video with this scientist. His name is Mr. Foster. He's a Tasmanian scientist. And in 1965, he claimed that the moon was plasma and landing on it is not possible. Once again, I thought this was bonkers. Just get ready. In the video, he goes on to say, if the moon is found to be plasma, a complete reinvestigation of the laws of nature is necessary. He said the mass of the moon is less than assumed, a different state of energy and far less mass. This would remove the moon affecting the tides. Don't worry, I'm going to get to why this all actually makes sense. The moon being plasma would mean all gravitational theories are out. The moon does not affect the tides. The concept of the cosmos and its laws has to be evolved. Yes. And then he finishes with the moon is definitely, as I assert, a plasma. You can go watch the video. Once again, this obviously sounds like lunacy. But it is not, and let me show you why, because I stumbled across something on the internet that blew my mind. So basically, I was researching something called plasma sheaths, which is when two plasmas come together that are different in characteristics, and it forms what is called a double sheath, which is a layer of positive and negative charge. It's like if they're two pieces of Velcro connecting. So upon searching on sheaths, it said something about how there's proof in 2003, let me show you, that there is a lunar double layer of plasma sheath. It said, in the shadows, the moon charges negatively in the interplanetary medium. The moon charges negatively? This led me down the rabbit hole I'm about to take you on. Okay, I stumbled across this paper. I feel like I should not have been able to stumble across this, but I did. And I was like, plasma dust on the moon's surface and exosphere. So is the moon made of plasma? And y'all, this makes sense. I don't know about you, but the way the moon glows in the sky just doesn't make sense to me. Like a rock glowing with the sun. I've seen rocks on Earth, they don't glow shimmering in the sun. But because the moon has plasma, or is made of plasma, would explain why it might glow. This is real stuff, guys. Now, why does this disprove our theory of gravity? The most important part of this. Now, there's a paper written by a scientist about gravity being just a theory. It talks about the flaws of gravity that has to do with the tides. He talks about how you can explain a high tide on the opposite side of Earth at the same time. That there are two, not one, high tides every day. He talks about how tides were given to us by an intelligent creator long ago, and the evidence of two tides falsifying gravity. I don't know. Gravity is not what we think it is. And I'm not saying I know everything about this. I wish I was more of a genius. I haven't, unfortunately, studied enough science to solve this, but eventually I will. I don't care who figures it out. Let's just figure out the truth, huh?
Well, now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon, and we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated to various scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock, but it is a plasma phenomenon, cosmic plasma, and that this fact will eventually be confirmed. I made certain predictions which were already confirmed in 1958, and the situation now is coming close to a complete confirmation.
What will be the result if you're proved to be correct in your theories?
The result will be profound and decisive, because it will give proof that a complete reinvestigation of the laws of nature is necessary. Because if the moon is a plasma, no man will ever land on it. The soft landing attempts will all fail. That means that the mass of the moon is less, far less, than is currently assumed. It's in a different state of energy, and it has far less mass. That means there is no more explanation for the tides. If the moon, for example, had only 1,000th part of its current mass, then the tides would only be 2 inches high under conventional theories instead of sometimes 14 feet. And that means that if it is proved that the moon is a plasma, then all gravitational theories are out, and a new concept of the cosmos and of its laws has to be evolved.
Aren't you being a bit adventurous, though, because you know that we're going to be able to test out your theories on the moon fairly soon?
Well, not anymore. 11 years ago, of course, it was rather taking a risk. I was considered a lunatic, of course. But by now, the evidence, accumulated evidence, is already so much in my favor that I'm not taking any risks anymore. On the contrary, there is scientific views expressed all over the world now that the moon seems to be of a quite different nature of what was assumed.
But the Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it.
Well, that will never happen.
Here's where I'm at on biblical cosmology, or the whole flat earth thing. When I read the Bible, I don't see how ancient Hebrews believed in what's called a modern heliocentric model, where the sun is the central focus of a solar system, and the earth is one of many planets, and everything's spinning and moving at a fast speed, kind of like what they teach in school. I don't believe the ancient Hebrews looked at it that way, and it's not just me that doesn't believe that. It's pretty much every scholar that studies ancient Near Eastern thought. Now, they'll go on to tell you that we've learned better since then, and we know more now, we have more information now. Yet men like Adam, Seth, Shem, Methuselah, Noah, Enoch, Abraham saw the earth as fixed, covered by a solid dome, what we call firmament in the Bible, from the Latin. saw it sitting on pillars, and underneath was Sheol, the realm of the dead. And Yahweh never called them stupid, dumb, ignorant. He dealt with them as righteous. If they believe that about the earth, and that Yahweh dwelt above the firmament, whether you believe there's multiple domes or one dome, I haven't gotten that deep into it yet. But Yahweh dwelt in heaven. Heaven was an actual place, not some kind of ethereal aura or something. But just like I was taught when I was a little kid, I don't even know if people knew what they were saying, but God lives in heaven. Yeshua said, my Father who is in heaven, and he's above us, and I can point up right now. And that's where Yahweh dwells if you go up high enough, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense if we're spinning and moving at a rapid pace. Where is he at, right? But if Yahweh dealt with him as righteous, who am I to believe something different than the ancient Hebrews? I could go into a lot of scripture and a lot of different thoughts, but I just want to share that with those of you that might be curious as to my position on biblical cosmology. Been studying it quietly for over a year. Have a great day.
It came in the mail and y'all are opening it with me. Ooh. Smell it. Woo. Here we go.
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Idialenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.